Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. You can keep your conniving money when you've been a corrupt. In a bill tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bill tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money. Neighbor joker, neighbor joker, neighbor joker. That's all the money that me work for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me work for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. Now I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
morning. Morning, are you morning? Are you morning? Morning, friend tell friend. Kams TV is live. Buxtonian morning time is on. Share the live, share the live. Share, share, share. If each of you shares 20 times, we're going to get about 1,000 persons. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Share, 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 share. Share. Take some more drumming and share. This morning we got big things to talk about. Cultural importance and attack on culture. We're going to also talk about Victoria and the roads. And some waste men like Super. People disappearing from this program. Morning, y'all. Hope you all had a good yesterday, a powerful yesterday. I hope you also had a wonderful evening, restful. And I trust you're very much energized today. You continue to see all the ills in this society. It is us who have to fix it. They say be the change you want to see. And so I encourage you to be that change. Let's take a quick look at what went down in Victoria yesterday. It's not going to be 1 hour long because I've tried to compress it. And so you're going to have a good, quick look at what went down in Victoria yesterday as we continue to look at the non-development of Afro-Guyanese community, as I call it, focus on non-development. When the cabal came under pressure, when we called for that day of protest, they came to Buxton. I'll just see me repeat, I guess. Sorry. They came to Buxton. Using a theme, development in focus. We haven't seen the development yet in Buxton, though. I can tell you that. Right? If Kwame Makai's relative lives on the first or second corner of the public road, yes, that road is done. I'm told it's done in nice clay brick and so on. They say it's the only road that is done in the Victorian community, right? Because some PPP guy lives there, so I'm assuming it might be the very road. I don't know. I mess up my medi there, man. I can't remember what it's saying. You see. Anyways. Take a look at what went on in Victoria yesterday. And folks, there are a lot of people who are calling me to go and highlight what's happening in the communities. I have no problem coming to highlight what's happening in your community. But I got enough things you have to understand. Right? Don't worry about the scum and cuss me. There are a lot of people cussing me in my inbox because of the work I'm doing right now. They're using me. Right? All kinds of things they're telling me, including stop begging for $5 and $10 on the program. I'm going to find a job. But many of them, like the government, they want to know where I earn my income from. How do I survive? I'm not a beggar. I never grew up begging. You were never taught to beg. My children are not beggars. My children, for example, I always talk about the attitude. They could be hungry for dead, Those people on the Zoom, kindly mute your mics. Now bear with me a few minutes, man. Yes, my children could be hungry to death, as we say, hungry for get blackout. And you offer them something and they will always tell you, I don't want. I don't want. You have to be a very close relative, because it's not any and every relative they eat from or they accept things from. Right? And so we are not beggars. We don't know about begging. We don't like beg. And I wish to reiterate that what I provide here on Kams TV is a service that people have to pay for elsewhere. Right? It's a service. In some countries, you might have pay-per-view. Bringing the kind of information and analysis and discussions that we bring you on Kams TV is no easy feat. A lot of people see it as easy, but a whole lot of work goes into it. Right? We do a lot of work to bring you the kind of information that we bring you. And it's usually credible. You notice nobody don't run up and say they're carrying Kams TV to quote, or the presenters on Kams TV to quote, because we don't just jump up and talk. We ensure we get it back in, and it means work has to go into it. Okay? Even as I'm doing this series, I'm now calling No Development in Focus, mocking the government, obviously. By going to these communities, there's a cost associated with it. Fuel costs, time is money, and so on and so forth. Not to mention the whole psychological toll on you. You don't know who is setting to ambush you when you go or you come. When you're going or you're coming. Or even when you arrive in a community. Right? So these are things that I want to highlight to you. And I'm highlighting them to you to say this. If you ask me to come to your community, and I say I will come, value my time. Get your act together. Bring your people together. Right? Numbers matter. I can come and I can make the case because the road is bad and so on. But where are the people who live on that road? Where are the people who live there? I'm not going to come to any community and see 3 and 5 persons representing the plight of the others on the road. Everybody must put their shoulders to the wheel, and that is the problem we have in this society. Everybody wants somebody to fight their battle. But even while that somebody is fighting their battle, they are practically non-existent. They don't show up to lend a shoulder to the battle that you're fighting. Right? I don't know. They don't show up to offer you a drink of water. They don't even ask you how you get there. Right? These are not things that really and truly look forward to, but I am saying that at least get your numbers, get yourselves organized. Because when 2 or 3 persons come out and complain, the first thing the cabal says is 2 or 3 of them AP and European see people who are making mischief. 100 million people live on a road and only 2 coming out to complain about the state of the road. We have to do better than that. And so I see Sapphire is calling. Sapphire, organize yourself. When you got a large enough group of people, call me. I can come. I see people telling me to come to Linden. I ain't driving to come to Linden. I find Linden highway bad. Because there's a death trap. But I don't mind coming to Linden. At some points in time, I will come to Linden. Some people, I think, ask me to come to Belfield. You can ask me to come wherever you want. I am willing to come because I want to highlight what's happening. The stark disparity in development that's happening in Afro-Guyanese communities, non-development, as against what is happening in Indo-Guyanese communities, development. Right? It's important. It's an important part of this struggle. All I am saying, play your part. Right? I don't believe just coming on Kams TV and highlighting your problem and sitting back with your hands clasped is going to get it fixed. You have to keep it in the forefront. It has to be out there all the time. And that's my encouragement to you. So take a sneak peek at Victoria. Hey, we're the outside. We're on Victoria sideline. Victoria people want road too. Welcome to another program of Development in Focus. Y'all tag Mark Phillips, tag Darren Lal, tag the Bishop and all of them because we're looking after development in focus. This is Victoria Sideline Road. And I'm talking to some of the folks in, on the sideline here. How long is this road like this?
Since we were here before the last.
So what are the challenges you have here?
The road and the bridge.
A proper bridge. That bridge there was to do. This road was to do before the last government out of power.
They sell election done. As soon as election done,
everything still left the same way.
Same way. 2 years done. Or 3.
You let us sing
every news hear them they're doing every community road. We need this road. We ain't get road. The share road people live in. You can't invite a taxi to come pick you up.
Why you don't go downstairs? Huh? How bad is it?
Bad.
How long you walking tax?
Long.
And has it ever been in a good state?
Yeah.
It was in a good state. Okay.
Yes. Dam is very terrible, man. We need some development on the dam, man. You can't really drive. People want taxi to go there, and when you tell them no, they complain. But we can't afford to drive the road because it damages up your vehicle,
Right.
and it's very much expensive to fix a vehicle just to drop a passenger. So we need new development.
The dam is in a terrible state for the longest while, and the residents suffering. As they tell you, it's not lying. You go through the vehicle, the damage your vehicle. People suffering, they get the goods that come with the goods they can't go through there. They got to stop on the lane, walking, then you want to shoot. And it's like people think this for a while. They still need fixing, no vehicle can go there, building, sand can go there, no material can go through there, nothing at all.
When Patterson came there, he looked at the road. What he was saying to us is that that entire road has to vent. You understand?
They got to do the revetment.
Right, they got to do revetment before you could actually put the road. But then government changed.
But I saw a section of the revetment done.
A section.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was done by Patterson?
Yes,
But I think
that's why they do that piece.
time is due. You
And there's a
understand?
piece more up here too.
For this road, the sideline to be fixed. The road to be fixed.
Right.
You
What
understand?
was your opinion of the general state of roads in the community?
We got a lot of bad roads here that need to be looked at somehow or other.
Wait a minute.
Yes. That's the story right there. That was Victoria for you. Right? People are suffering, I mean, I couldn't do a whole lot. But you have people producing cash crop and so on in the community, and they're having a difficulty getting the produce out and so on because of the state of the road. Taxis are not going down there. School-age children have to be dropped off.
For this road, the sideline to be fixed. The road to be fixed.
Right.
You
What?
For this road, the sideline to be fixed. The road to be fixed.
Right.
You
What?
For this road, the sideline to be
debating, but
fixed.
because we want it to be
Right.
from the person.
Good?
For this
And
road,
so
the sideline to be
debating, but
fixed.
because we want it to be from
And that's why
the
it's
person.
important, like I'm saying. They need to get themselves into groups. Because if I go there,
Debating, but
Fixed.
because we want it to be from
and that's why
the
it's
person.
important, like I'm saying. They need to get themselves into groups. As to what, because if I go
Debating, but because we want it to be
right? But when I go there and one person comes out to talk to me about the road. But to really, you need to unmute, sir. Whatever. Don't pretend, because pretending and getting you live comfortably or not. Right? People are suffering. I mean, I couldn't do a whole lot. But you have people producing cash crop and so on in the community, and they're having a difficulty getting the produce out and so on because of the state of the road. Taxis are not going down there. School-age children have to be dropped off at one corner of the street to walk the length of the street to get home. And the street itself is a challenge, a whole big challenge. I can tell you that. I drove through one of them. It's, as I like to say, the Cassandra Crossing. It's a set of potholes and so on and so forth. Good? And so that's the issue. Sometimes our people need guidance at the Ola Marshall. And that is why it's important, like I'm saying, they need to get themselves into groups. Because if I go there and I meet 10, 12, 15, 20, 40 people, and I do a live, the possibility is we can then sit and talk as to what community action might be necessary to resolve the situation. Right? But when I go there and one person comes out to talk to me about the road, I don't feel confident enough that that one person will be able to mobilize the community to do community work. Because if they couldn't mobilize the community to come out and represent the road, the bad infrastructure, then that's it. The other thing with our people that I find, you saw it when I was in Melanie and you saw it also yesterday, I don't know why it is people are afraid to speak the truth or speak truth to power. If the only road down in Victoria is a road that a PPP man live on, that is what you have to say. New P, I don't know who's New P. Melanie man tell you he doesn't want to get into politics. Well, every single situation in your life is political. Like it or not. Your life and livelihood is affected on a daily basis by politics. The decisions of the politicians will determine whether you live comfortably or not. And we seem not to understand that. Compare and contrast. David Granger is not the best thing we have had. But he was better than what we have and what we had in the past. Granger in office, we had law and order for the greater part. Extrajudicial killing was down to naught, perhaps, or almost not. Let me don't use definites here. It was almost not. It came way down. Public servants were receiving increases, yearly increases on their wages and salaries. And so that politician was ensuring that people lived a better quality of life. Compared to this set of politicians. Public servants haven't seen an increase for the last year. Despite the fact that cost of living is rising. We have seen a return to the dark days. Police torturing citizens. Extrajudicial killing, murder for hire in the Guyana police force. So all of these things are political. And so stop fooling yourselves. Stop burying your head in the sand like proverbial ostrich and talk about you want to get political. It's damn political. It is political. It can't be anything else but political. It is politicians who control the country's purse, and it is politicians who got you punishing. It's as simple as that. So forget whatever. Don't pretend, because pretending ain't getting nothing. They don't like you. Don't pretend to like them, because they ain't gonna get you nothing. Just stand up for what you deserve. Hey, yo. And this is another political decision I'm going to be talking about. I have in the house, I have it was this morning, members of the African Cultural Development Association, ACDA. And last year I hear about them. They can say taking a stripe for them, but not last year I hear about ACDA. Because with all that has been happening, black people getting killed, murdered, beat up and all of that, I can't remember hearing a statement from ACDA recently. That's me, I like talk. Right? By now it's my view that ACDA should be an all-year-round organization, but the reality is it's not an all-year-round organization. Well, you don't see and hear them all year round. But anyhow, it's the time of the year when you get to see and hear ACDA. And so this morning we have members of ACDA here, and we're going to be talking with them not only about their Emancipation Fest, which is customarily on the 1st of August, but we are also going to be talking about some challenges that they are encountering. Brother Macrae, welcome. You need to unmute, please. You need to unmute, sir. And the person in Galaxy
Brother
J7
Kadaki,
Prime.
good morning to the viewers of Buxton Morning Time and Talk the Thing. We, myself and the other sister who will be introduced shortly are from ACDA. And Brother Kadaki, that swipe was unnecessary because you know that I was in the picket line as a representative of ACDA. And we've been doing this forever. How do you do?
I'm okay. Whoever's on the J7 Prime needs to put on video. It's a video
That's
show.
Sister
We hope that
Pender.
we can,
Sister Pender, your video, please. And unmute your mic.
all right, so Elton Macrae, you're one of the administrators, if I can say that, of ACDA. You're one of the management members. I don't know what's this management structure of ACDA.
I'm a member of the steering committee of ACDA. We have a steering committee that that is involved in policy formulation for the organization, right? ACDA is basically run by committees. You have different committees focusing on different areas. Like education, we have a committee that will look at education. We have an emancipation planning committee. Different activities are planned by the different committees, but we have an overall steering committee to which I'm a member of that steering committee.
Okay, who are the other members of the steering committee?
I'm here.
We have Sister Marshall, Sister Pender, Brother Rudy Guyana, Sister Violet Jean-Baptiste, Brother Barrington, Sister Clark, right? We are the members of the steering committee. Where two of them died recently, Brother Olatunji and Brother Bacchuswelly was about 2 years ago, right? And they have not been replaced as yet on that committee.
Y'all want to replace one of them with me?
Pardon?
You want to replace one of them with me?
If you become a member of ACDA, we don't mind. Come on board.
It might sound comical, or I think.
No, it's not.
When I look at ACDA, I don't know if I'm right because I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not very up close and personal, but I think ACDA needs some young blood to really, go there and fight. Go there and fight. I don't know.
We need young people. We have a youth committee. We have the AYA, which is African Youth Association, right? As part of ACDA.
Good. So then the thing is, what I should say, publicity. We need to see more of them. We need to hear more of them. We need to hear more of that.
In fact, the emancipation program, it's basically run by the members of AYA. They are the ones who are spearheading the emancipation activities.
All right, good. So let's talk about emancipation activities. And let's talk about it from a historical perspective and then come to the present. How long ACT has been in existence? How long it has been doing this?
ACT has been in existence for just about 30 years, right? In 93, we were able to get via President Jagan the permission or the exclusive right to do, because prior to that, emancipation was celebrated on August Monday. But we, along with other cultural groups, we lobbied the government, which was led by President Jagan, as you know, to change it from August Monday to 1st of August, because we were able to get our emancipation through our struggles, our foreparents, on the 1st of August, and not just the August Monday, which is considered a bank holiday. So we were able to get that from the government of the day. Also, in 93, we were able, because prior to that, there would have been the, what we call folk festival, held by a group coming out of the radio station, right? We were able to lobby again to the government to act under the aegis of the African groups, right? Most of them did not really take up the matter, so ACT became the forerunner, the leader in this charge to have the emancipation celebrations every year at the National Park. Over time, there have been celebrations in other communities called emancipation, like under the last government, there were several emancipation events in the regions, right? Which ACT did not really participate in, but because we wanted to be, from ACT perspective, something which should be celebrated throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. So we're not going to be fighting if the people on the East Coast wants to have an emancipation celebration. The people on the West Coast want to have an emancipation celebration. The people on West Berbice, and so on, right? So we all need to be celebrated, because as we see it, emancipation is a celebration, is a time where we do like an in-gathering where our families take the focus, the African family, where the focus is on transferring our customs and beliefs through this celebratory mode to our children, right? Sister Penny, you want to add to that?
Yes, certainly. Good morning, Brother Kadaki.
Good morning, Sister Penny. Welcome.
Thank you. And I'm saying a special thank you to the listeners for welcoming me into their homes this morning. Yes, what Brother is saying is absolutely important, because we are here this morning with you because of our concerns at the efforts that are being made by this PPC administration, Hits and Jams, and others who are attempting to disenfranchise or to crush, for want of a better word,
derail,
our emancipation heritage. And my concern, adding to what Brother's saying, is that why is it that the PPPC and their ilks are engineering discontent among the peoples of this nation? I don't know, Brother Kadaki, if they're planning to divide Guyana as was in India, where we have India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. Because we're trying here to promote social cohesion. And what is not taught and what is not told, that emancipation is not just as they're putting out there. It's not just an African thing, it's a national thing, because it was because of the struggles of our foreparents in this country that brought about emancipation, which made it possible for all others who came after 1834, when they set foot on this land, to be free. 1834. So we are very disturbed that they cannot understand the significance of emancipation, because if you are destroying this rich heritage and culture, which it seems blatant, because I'm calling names now, hits and jams, we've always had jam zone in the middle of August. Now, why are you suddenly putting jam zone on the 1st of August? Why are you having another entity? Why are you having Juve? Juve is African, yes, but it has nothing to do with our emancipation celebration. Juve is attached to Carnival. So why are you putting Juve on the 31st of August, if not to distract our youth and prevent them in embracing their heritage of the 1st of August? So these things are very, very disturbing. I don't think they're understanding that there were, according to Dr. Guyana, we've had 4 emancipations. We had the Catholic emancipation of 1829. We had our emancipation. We had the Indian emancipation of 1843, and we had the Jewish emancipation of 1856. So you see, we had so many of them. And now these very persons who had their emancipations are now trying to suppress our activity. And I think that is not acceptable at all. So we are here this morning to let the nation know that this is not something that should happen. There should not be a division among us in this country, because every ethnic group or racial group of this nation gets to develop through the honoring of their respective ancestor by way of their cultural ceremonies, which are acknowledged and respected by the peoples. In Guyana, all of them have cultural ceremonies except Africans. So we are the only ones that don't have these ceremonies. And the one ceremony that we are embracing, which is not just for Africans, but for everyone, even that they're trying to destroy. Brother Elton, what do you think?
Okay. I will go back again to the historical perspective as we know it in Guyana. Now, as mentioned before, in 93, the African groups were allowed to take over what was priorly known as the Folk Festival, and it became the Emancipation Festival. To note, at the time, President Jagan, along with Commissioner Laurie Lewis, ensured us from then on, and it was respected by all presidents, including the last PPP president, Donald Ramotar, and the commissioner who was then Mr. James, I think it was that commissioner, that on that first day of August, no distracting event was permitted.
Ashe.
Right? There were no distractions, even the day before, because we know, Sister Penda mentioned the 31st of August for the Juve. It was actually, if we had not in Agda secured the 31st of August to be a day in which we will be making preparations for the park, because we have elaborate preparations. We have to build booths, we have to prepare our stage and all of these things for that day. So we normally take the park 2 days before, right? So we have the 30th, the 31st. If it was not for that, we would have had that Juve on the 31st, and then for the 4th of August, we would have been cleaning the park because nobody would have cleaned it for us. So the intent was definitely to disrupt. So because the park, they asked us to still give the day. We said, no way, because we have to be more, you'll be destroying our preparation period, right? To note also is that during the period of COVID, right, when we were doing the virtual programs last year, again, Sister Penda mentioned EXXON jams, right? We were virtual, as I said. EXXON jams had a program with the same artists, the same cultural performers that we would have had on our program 1 hour before our program was built to start. So definitely, so somebody would have seen the EXXON jam program, and when they switch over to our program, deja vu, then our viewing audiences would have been. So this organization, definitely in conjunction with the PPP, has been putting a spike into our wheels to ensure that we be relegated to a second class. So EXXON jam apparently should be, according to the PPP, the premier African grouping that promotes emancipation. But we know that their promotions are not family oriented. So, and that is where our strength should be, because we want to be able to transfer our values to our young people. For games, the foods we use, we need to be able to see this for what it is, right? A political maneuvering.
What do you see it as? Let me ask that. What do you see it as?
Political maneuverings.
To what end?
To destroy the African presence in Guyana. To downplay the African presence.
And so we're saying that EXXON jams.
It's an African grouping.
Pardon?
They are an African group.
Yes, so here is a group of Afro-Guyanese working to destroy the African heritage in Guyana. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yes.
May I come in here?
Yes, Sister Penda.
Yes. I think it's unfair to just focus on them, because there are other groups that are also putting on events at this time. I think it's a collaboration. I think these young people unknowingly are being used by the bodies that want our destruction.
Which are the other groups that are putting on events? Do you have a name?
We don't know who is actually promoting because EXXON jam say they are not the ones doing the Juve, they are doing their jam zone. We don't know who is promoting the boat ride, because EXXON jams have dissociated themselves according to what we are hearing from that also.
We're not sure who's doing the activities, but we do know that they're being advertised. Juve is being advertised at a location to be disclosed later. We know the boat ride is going on. And then recently we've now been told that, and that too is being advertised, that the Department of Culture is putting on 2 activities at the Cultural Center on the 31st and the 30th. So the point I'm making is that under previous governments, no permission would have been given for these activities to take place. Not under Janet Jagan, not under Chetty Jagan, not under our founder leader, President Burnham, not under Mr. Hoyt. None of these things would have happened, even under Mr. Ramattar and President Jackie. This did not happen. So why this sudden? You see, they would never have given permission. They would have been told, no, this is emancipation, period. And let me add something, brother. I'm not sure, because I was told this on Sunday, and I'm not sure who the minister is. If the sister's listening, I hope she will come in and help me to clarify this. That one of the ministers, I think it was either to do with the last celebration that the Indians had in this country, she made it clear that this was very significant, and she did not want one stink and dirty to be at that time, and they didn't have it. So if this is what is strange, if you know that these things should not be, then why are you giving permission for it to be around emancipation?
All right, let me interject there. I'll tell you that minister is Vinda Prasad, because I heard that statement myself. She came out in concern about what people were doing around the Pago festival. But here again, Brother Elton said earlier, I shouldn't be the swipe was unfair to ACTA. What's the current strength of ACTA? Any idea, sir? Brother Elton?
I didn't quite hear you.
I'm asking what's the current membership or strength of ACTA, associations included?
ACTA is Georgetown based basically, so the membership is confined to Georgetown. It's not a national mass based organization.
All right. This question has context. Because if this is a cultural battle, right? If this is a battle against cultural domination, then I am saying that one of the responses, yes, we're doing the right thing here on Kams TV, one of the responses is to present ACTA in front of the Ministry of Culture. There should be a major protest highlighting this issue in front of the Ministry of Culture. Permission for these events come from the Ministry of Home Affairs. There should be a protest there. And so the world gets to see, right, what is happening in terms of the efforts to, like you said, distract from this cultural activity. Because when it is Pago, people expect that the Pago observances, which usually are done at the National Stadium these days, will be respected. Right? When it is Eid and it is this and it is the other, they expect respect. The 1st of August is known as Emancipation Day. It's when black people celebrate their victory, having won their freedom, etc., etc. And like you're rightly saying, it was not interfered with previously. And so if this administration has the temerity to interfere with it, act as the cultural representative in this instance, I'm giving you a big responsibility, or to have the temerity to confront them, right? People will generally take an opportunity to make money whenever they see the possibility. So the likes of
Brother Kidaki, not cutting you, but we have actually written to the Minister of Culture, we have written to the President, and we have spoken to the Commissioner of Police. And from the end of the Commissioner of Police, for instance, we have got, because it was a front face-to-face contact, we have got the assurances that there will be some changes in the years to come.
No. You see, that's the thing. Why in the years to come? Why not now? Why not now? Robson was quick to say the likes of Scan
I would assume that
in Guyana.
Permissions were already granted.
No, they can be withdrawn.
No.
They can be withdrawn. And this is what I'm saying. We have to stand our ground. We have to demand. And we're begging. You have to demand. And to accept in years to come it will change. It should not have happened in the first place. That's from the Commissioner of Police. Culture Ministry. What did you hear from the Culture Ministry? Did you get a response? Did you get a response from the President?
Not as yet.
So today is the 14th of July. You have less than 2 weeks, let's say, before it comes to the 1st of August. What are we waiting for to get a response? Like I'm saying, I just believe, and call me chaotic, crazy, whatever, I believe that ACTA should be staging pickets in front of these ministries to challenge them to withdraw these permissions.
Okay. That could be the ideal, but you see, brother, the few members of ACTA, we are busy now preparing to have the program over, so we need to put a program on. This is something which because that's why we are here. The African in Guyana should be out there, because ACTA is not the only, should not be the only concerned body.
Brother,
this should be something which
Brother,
All Africans in
I
Ghana
agree
should
with
be
you, the Africans should be out there. Who is calling them out there? Who is calling them out
concerned
there?
Africans.
Huh?
Concerned Africans. We will join. We can have representatives.
No,
here,
sorry.
but
You see, hear me. Don't think I'm bashing you. I don't think I'm bashing you. You can't join. You have to lead. You have to lead. This is your territory being infringed upon. You are the cultural representative. You've been given that mantle for the last 30 years. And so you can't join, you have to lead. But the whole intent of this program this morning is that, folks, viewers, I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're paying attention. A cultural activity, an activity of cultural significance hosted by the African Cultural Development Association for the last 30 years on the 1st of August is now being threatened.
29 years.
Last 29 years is now being threatened, right? Because of the callousness of this government. And when I said on previous program, it's a government that is Indo-Guyanese dominated, people get angry. But here is an Indo-Guyanese dominated government allowing an infraction into the, what should I say, cultural preservation of Afro-Guyanese. The biggest cultural celebration for Afro-Guyanese is done in this country on the 1st of August. And here it is. The Minister of Culture, who want to understand the importance because of his office, culture, of this activity, along with the Commissioner of Police, the Prime Minister who takes time out to say that he's so Afrocentric, and the entire government and the agencies have given permission to all kinds of Tom, Dick, and Harry to host events that are distractive and competitive to this activity on the 1st of August. A lot of people can tell you it's a democracy, it's a free market, and so competition is necessary. But why not competition on other occasions? We have to see this for what it is. When you look around this society, what you see, as I highlighted this morning, black communities are getting low development. Sectors where Afro-Guyanese are predominant are getting no government support. Now when we come to the cultural realm, infringement is being allowed. And we are here, most of us quite frankly, saying that we shall accept it until the next year? Is that what we're saying? Or should all of us be out there to say loudly, unambiguously, to the powers that be, we will not allow this? I am saying, we should be out there saying,
the latter is
we should not allow this. Sorry.
Brother Kadaki,
go ahead.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that point, because as you rightly said, and as I said earlier on, every other ethnic group is able to empower themselves through their celebrations. This is our celebration, as you rightly said. This is the only cultural one. We don't have any national celebration. We don't have a national day. We do not in this country. However, what I'm saying is that we are emphasizing, you see, I'm taking this point. We are emphasizing that emancipation, at least that's what they try to teach us, is that emancipation is an African thing that came from slavery. Our foreparents, who were on those prison industrial complexes called plantations, they brought the system to its foot or to their feet by working and bringing the plantation system to 40% of production. Therefore, emancipation was a compromise. And we brought that about. And it is because of the struggles of our foreparents that brought that victory. Emancipation is a African Victory Day in this country. It is our victory. But at the same time, they should understand that it is because of emancipation that when all others came after, they got that freedom. What is not told, Brother Kadaki, is that the same people that are planning to destroy this is why I mentioned if they're trying to have a division here, like what happened in India with Bangladesh and Pakistan. Because these very people, when they came here, they were slaves. Slavery was not abolished in India until 1843. So they should understand that this emancipation is a national thing with emphasis on our foreparents who brought it about. And they should not be trying to destroy. They should be helping to promote it so that we can have social cohesion. It should not be a destruction. And the young people are not aware that when you destroy your culture, thinking that you're making a penny, you are destroying yourself, because it's Marcus Garvey that made it clear. A people without a culture is like a tree without leaves. If you don't know who you are and you cannot embrace yourself, then you're lost.
It's our
I agree. I cannot sit silent and see the planned destruction of what they're trying to do to us. And all fronts, it's an all-around attack. And it's not coincidental. So you are right. I don't accept what the police commissioner is saying about next time. It should be stopped in its track. And the reason I'm so grateful for you having us on this morning is because we want the people in this country to understand, especially the young people, that you cannot go out there and support these things that are working towards your own destruction. It is unacceptable.
How do we stop it? How do we stop it? That's a question. How do we stop it? What are you demanding? What do you want from the administrators, from the powers that be, from the government with regard to the 1st of August? What do you want as we sit here talking? What is the demand from ACTA?
We would accept nothing less than a clear separation of activities which promote African culture and development, not after the organization, but the African culture and development in Guyana should be the ones that we should encourage. If within Buxton, I say, for instance, the Toucan wants to have an activity on that day which promotes culture, yes, Toucan should go. If in Berbice, Rapak wants to have an activity within which they'll be promoting African culture and development, yes, that should be encouraged, and so on. But we do not want to have events which is purely commercial in its outlook, fun, distractions, things which introduces to our people and our young people ideas which do not bring about that social cohesion, as Sister Pende is saying, where people just living for their selfish gains. Those should not be on board on that day, right? They have 52 weekends in this country to promote all they want. We are asking for 1 weekend in this case to be free, right? There are the other days of August, you can do whatever you want. The other weekends in August, you can do whatever you want. The weekends before that, you can do whatever you want. But let us be free to bring our minds to understand what went on in Guyana. Let us make those links, cultural linkages, and how we can project ourselves into the future. That's what it's all about. And by the way, we have not mentioned that this year, emancipation celebrations will also be graced by the presence of some royalties from Africa. Kings, queens, princesses, they are coming to Guyana for to be part of our emancipation celebrations. This you will hear some more about. Sister Penda?
Yes, indeed. We have a number of kings and queens coming from the continent with princesses, and they're going to be here. They're going to be in the park. So we would like everyone, all our youths, to be there to be able to see and understand what this is all about. These kings and queens and princesses were supposed to be going into America, but because of visa and different problems, they couldn't be there, so they're coming to the Caribbean. The same time they'll be here, some of them will be in Antigua. We know, Brother Kadaki, that this is a direct attack because, you know, in America, you don't want to bring in a whole entourage of kings and queens to uplift the Africans in America, because then they're going to understand that, oh my goodness, we're now on Facebook and on WhatsApp talking about our heritage, you know, that we were kings and queens, and here we have a whole entourage coming from the various kingdoms in different parts of Africa. So I think the people here should really understand how privileged they are to be able to make that connection with these kings and queens and princesses from various kingdoms throughout from different parts of Africa. Coming back to what Brother Elton was saying, emancipation is celebrated not just at the national park. We have various groups who have the same thing. Like, for example, they're celebrating in New Amsterdam, and I'm sure they'll be celebrating in Essequibo. So we try to have it in all three regions.
It's now 7:21. It's Friday, Free Talk Friday. Welcome down. Welcome to Kams TV Buxtonian Morning Time Free Talk Fridays. Yes, share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. All right. This morning we're going to talk about those who don't know that they don't know. And so they pretend as if they really know. Or is it that they know and they pretend that they don't know? Nadira Sakraj, morning, girl, morning. Sheila George, Joel Ward. Sheila is always the first person to come on this live every single morning. I can't beat Sheila. Shirley Live, Alicia Motilab, Emily Durant, present and counted. Courtney October, Shirley Live. Denise October, Shirley Live. Ivan Gladwin, Graham, Shirley Live. Y'all see Diane Graves, Andy? Yes, she's here, she's here, she's here. Egerton David is here too. And so too is Winston Kilkenny that is. Share the live, Karen Archibald. Share the warden. All of you should be sharing 20 times already. You know, we are waiting for June Bona. Quito Beresford is in the house, and so too is Annette Gordon. Roberto Ray, welcome down. Glycis Mingo Byrne. Y'all welcome to another program of Buxtonian Morning Time. It is now 7:24, and I'm encouraging you to share the live. We're not at 500 yet, what happened? The weekend started. But that doesn't mean that you should just go and swing. And that is one of the problems we have. A lot of us only wait for the weekend to go and swing. Some of us are swinging every day of our life. And we're not paying attention to the things that matter. But this morning I want us to talk about some things that matter. And so share the life. I want to talk to 1 million people this morning. Y'all help me. Right? If you can't help me to get to 500, well, y'all got me scared. How are we reaching 1 million people this morning? Right? Y'all listened to the representatives of AGDA yesterday. You heard what's going on. But why is it happening? Why can it happen? Why can it happen? I usually say, if I've never said it here, I'm going to say it now. Black people are the most divided on the face of the earth. Y'all didn't like it, though? Black people are the most divided on the face of the earth. In unity, there is strength. And if there is no unity among us, we can't be strong. We have our individual strengths. Yeah, me's a strong man. But one strong man can't move the boulder. Can't move the slab of brick block, that block that was used to build the pyramid. Had to take plenty strong men. Yes, individually I'm brilliant. But one brilliant mind is not going to take us out of this conundrum that we're in. Unity is the word. And for as long as black people remain as divided as we are, other people who can find unity among themselves will continue to take advantage of us. They will continue to disrespect us. And we will continue to whine like sissies. Yeah! It's Free Talk Friday. I can tell you all as it is this morning. Y'all too disrespectful. Or we too disrespectful to each other. We don't recognize and value the strengths of each other. And that is why these things can happen. But share the life. I say I want to tell 1 million people this morning. Share the life. Share the life. We got some people to wake up. We have some people to wake up. Come, share the life. I got a call yesterday. David Hinds, and after the call I said, you know, David Hinds has been saying it, Dr. David Hinds has been saying it for quite a while now. We winning. We winning. When we say there are protests, the entire cabal run from Georgetown to Buxton. Right? All of them forget that on CARICOM Day they had barbecue in the backyard, they had picnic, and they had to go and hunt and all that they do on taxpayers' money when there is a holiday. All of them forget though. And according to them, they take the group that is known as the Dunstogs. They can handle, they rough and tumble, so they send them to Buxton. On his Waldron line, on his Waldron. She lied, she was in Parliament. Super! The soup drinker that now has to justify his existence by going to Afro-Guyanese community and tell them I'm Afrocentric. When I walk into a room in any Guyanese community, they don't have to ask if I'm Afrocentric. They see it printed on my face. They reckon, oh, Mr. Amsterdam. Sometimes when I go into places where people say Mr. Amsterdam, I look at them and I wonder, and they say, I know you from the program. Let your work speak for itself. Super! When he goes to the Afro-Guyanese communities, he has to take the time to tell them he's Afrocentric. The Fisher Bishop too. So that's a new line that black members of government, the Afro-Guyanese ministers as they call themselves, ministers, have to take when they go to Afro-Guyanese communities to convince them that this wicked and vindictive Indo-Guyanese dominated government is good for them. I am Afrocentric. Where is the proof? They say the proof of the prize in the eating. Where's the evidence? Show me what your Afrocentrism has done for black people in this country. Show me where the development is taking place for black people in this country. Show me that. And then you can talk about the part you played to make it a reality. Otherwise, you're not Afrocentric as far as I'm concerned. You're a soup drinker. Mark Phillips, the soup drinker. Mark Phillips went to Golden Grove as acting president and could not make a single commitment to the people of Golden Grove. As a matter of fact, I'm lying. I am lying. Sorry, I am lying. I'm being dishonest to this wonderful Afrocentric Prime Minister of Guyana. Super went to Golden Grove and addressed the people who were protesting and still are protesting for justice in the murder of Queen Bacchus. And Super made one commitment to them. One single commitment I can remember. Everything else is I have to investigate. I will see about it. One single commitment. I am going to get counselors to come into this community and counsel the people who are traumatized when they join services, bombards the community with tear gas, pellets, rubber bullets, and live rounds. Super made that commitment. We are going to get counselors down here. I remember one of the persons there, I can't remember if it's Mr. Simon, said that Mr. Acting President, one councillor can't do it. And he said, no. We are going to get several councillors into this community. Today, they have not seen one. Afrocentric Mark Phillips, shame on you! Shame! According to word in the street, they consider he wanted it done stop. Who could come into Afro-Guyanese community and settle Afro-Guyanese when they think that they rile up? This is the man I can talk. I tell you, I'm going to talk about some waste men, you know. This week has been waste men talk. I have to save it for Friday. Super stood on the stage in Golden Grove and told the people, when I retired as a chief of staff, I could have lived comfortably off of my pension and other emoluments. But I chose to come and become Prime Minister because I want to serve the Afro-Guyanese community. Well, you are not doing it, Super. And while that is a story, let me tell you another story that is out there. Super invested all of his gratuity, etc., into the mining industry, and it was a colossal failure. So the money broke. The money broke. And so when the dirty and wicked stinking, when I say stinking dirty cabal, chose him to be another house slave, he was happy because he saw where his meal was going to come from. So when Super come running around the place and tell you how nonsense but being Afrocentric and he is serving the Afro-Guyanese community, ask him to provide the evidence. Where is the evidence? What have you done for us? What does the song say? Ooh, yeah. What have you done for us lately? What have you done for us? What have you done for us? Except be a window dresser for the stinking dirty cabal. Huh? This morning attacking a nasty, dirty, stinking business. Share the life, share the life. I want to talk to 1 million people this morning. Someone from Nigeria contacted me this morning. He said, Mr. Amsterdam, you're doing a great job for the black people. I like what you're doing for Afro-Guyanese brothers and sisters. I will join you. We in Nigeria see your fight and we will join you to fight them. Right? We went in. Professor David Hinds said that. The bishop, he to telling people that he Afrocentric. Where is your Afrocentrism? Where is it? Show it. Where is it? How many Afro-Guyanese communities as Minister of Public Works Has the bishop visited, made an assessment of the despicable state of their public infrastructure and gave a commitment to fix it and honor that commitment? How many? Not a single one I could talk about. Not a single one I could talk about. Let them prove me wrong. Yesterday I saw the bishop telling the two shows how many kilometers or thousands of kilometers of road they're going to fix in the interior, in the hinterland. Hey, I ain't vexed. Every Guyanese community deserves good road. But Afro-Guyanese are Guyanese too. And Afro-Guyanese communities deserve good roads too. So bishop, wheel and come again. Wheel and come again. They said the minister in the office of the minister in the office of the prime minister is Kwame Julius McCoy. I gave him that middle name in case y'all didn't recognize. Is he Afrocentric? He black. He's Afro-Guyanese, but is he Afrocentric? I wonder. He was part of the team that came to Buxton. Said development in focus. No development in focus this morning. And no development in focus would be on Kams TV for a long time. They say the only road that is well done in Victoria is a road on which a PPP member lives. And that PPP member I'm learning is related to Kwame McCoy. Let me tag the thing. It is now 7 hours 36. Let me tag the thing, but y'all share the life. According to my good friend Sharon, like you want to build this flipping cup in your chest. I don't know. Some people promoting violence, y'all be careful. Well, it's Free Talk Friday. I talk in the thing. You know what I'm saying? I talk in the thing. I am sure though, when I talk in the thing, I got me back in. One more for Parslow, Selwyn Peters and others, nil for Anil. Y'all recognize that? One more for Parslow and team, nil for Anil. Anil was beaten again in court yesterday. Selwyn Peters took pride in flying from Canada. Well, I wonder if he came first class, because all the Guyanese ministers are traveling first class. They could be junior or senior minister, or they could be a friend of the minister. They're traveling first class on taxpayers' money. Y'all recognize they draw more money from the Natural Resource Fund? Y'all don't know that? We might talk about that too, but we talking the thing. Selwyn Peters took pride in flying from where he was in Canada, enjoying the cool or cold, to come here and hot up the trucks. And he lost again. He lost again. His application for leave, if that is what it is called correctly, I can't remember, to challenge the substitution of Paul Slope for the Police Service Commission in a matter that involved the overreach of the fat guy Ali was dismissed. It was dismissed. And so they're not going to deal with that substantive matter as to whether or not the fat guy overreached and whether or not a state should be put on the promotions list that was released recently. Yeah, that case, I think, there's a case that comes up in court today. I can tell you, them boys got a busy time. But when we're talking about Afrocentrism, put Parslow on the list. Put Parslow on the list. And I'm saying put Parslow on the list because through these cases, challenging this stinking dirty cabal, Paul Slow is standing in defense of a whole host of black Afro-Guyanese policemen and women who are deserving of their promotion and which this stinking dirty cabal is preventing from being promoted. Paul Williams, it says the most qualified right now to sit in the seat of Commissioner of Police. But the stinking dirty cabal sideline is a whoops. And they put a man who, according to Paul Slow, only got what? A drill officer certificate or something like that. Can And so when Paul Slow and Clinton Conway and others challenge this dirty, stinking dirty cabal on the intervention, they overreach into the work of the Police Service Commission. They're standing in defense of all of these black officers, all of these Afro-Guyanese officers. They're officers of other ethnicities there too. They're standing in defense of all the officers. But like I usually say, social scientists talk about the majority. And the majority of the people in the Guyana police force are Afro-Guyanese, number one. And the majority of the officers, I want to believe, who are being denied their promotions are Afro-Guyanese officers. And so that is Afrocentrism, whether or not he recognizes it. Yeah, what I say? So, when I say something much, let's Super and Kwame and O'Neil and Fisher Bishop. Where's the got in there by? All these so-called Afrocentric ministers of this dirty, stinking dirty cabal. Come let me play match-up. Show me what you've done to promote the cause of Afro-Guyanese in this country. And don't tell me that you're Guyanese and you're there to represent every Guyanese, because the government that you're sitting in is not representative of every Guyanese. It is not treating every Guyanese fair. I saw the fat guy walking through Sheriff, what do they call it? Sheriff Public Hospital or something to the extent on the west side. Massive structure, man. Great. Big thing. And the question that came to my mind immediately is it likely that this stinking dirty cabal would give license to a group of Afro-Guyanese to establish one of that anywhere in Guyana? First place, is it likely that they will even give them the land? I doubt not. Because I know of a purchase less than that they have withheld. Less than that they have refused to grant Afro-Guyanese permit. That's the first thing that crossed my mind. In the distribution of the wealth, I tell you, they draw down another set of money, another 200 million from the Natural Resource Fund. Imagine the first 200 million or what, 200 million, I think so. US? It share out left, right, and center among their friends and cronies and communities which they perceive as supportive of us, of them. Did we get any? What percentage did we get? Huh? What percentage did we get? 0 point something, 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 something. They draw down again. What will we get? Super! But was present in Buxton not so long ago. And they said to Buxtonians, I understand, we are going to fix your roads and streets. When? Is that another promise that Super's made? Like the one he made in Golden Grove, we will send counselors to counsel your children and those who are traumatized? That has not been fulfilled? Is that another comfort promise that will not be fulfilled? Huh? A promise is a comfort of fool, and I ain't no fool. Sorry for those who want to believe these comfort promises. The first line in that promise is that we will fix the railway embankment and your roads and streets. The railway embankment is in this year's budget to be fixed. Are our roads and streets in the budget to be fixed? No. I understand you're going to Parliament for supplementary budget. Do you expect that your roads and streets will be in the supplementary budget? As far as I understand, not likely. Because supplementary budgets are really and truly only allowed for critical items of government business. When I just said Foreign Affairs Minister too, yes, that's Onage Waldron, the lying girl, the girl that could lie. And as an aside, let me have a laugh. I learned just the other day, a friend was poking fun at me because I always talking about Dirty Parag. A friend showed me a photograph of DPI wishing Dirty Parag happy birthday on the 12th of July. Y'all could believe it? That wicked and nasty-minded individual share the same birthday with me? Nah, something wrong. The moon they don't shift. My God. Oh, yes, that was an aside. But we're talking the thing. And the question stands. Why is it that the things which are happening to ACNA right now in terms of all of this intrusion into the African space, if I can call it that, is allowed to happen under this thing called Dirty Cabal? And why is it allowed to happen? Because a lot of people don't know, or they know and pretend they don't know, or they know and they don't care that they know of the importance of the 1st of August to Afro-Guyanese. And I dare say to Afro-Caribbean and Africans around the world, the descendants of Africans, descendants of freed slaves. Right? They seem not to know. And this morning I want to share some stuff with y'all. And the first question I want to ask, what date was emancipation? Because a lot of them who said they know, really know. I wonder if Mark super know. Because as Prime Minister, I would want to believe he would know these things. I wonder if Batty Lion, who sits at the Ministry of Culture, knows the significance of August 1st and what year enslaved Africans were freed. I want to know these things. I wonder if the Dunsin Minister of Culture knows what significance July 31st holds in the minds of Afro-Guyanese and descendants of freed slaves around the Caribbean and I dare say the world. I wonder. Share the life. I want 1 million people to talk to this morning. I wonder. Elton McRae, responding to me yesterday morning, said the folks over at Hits and Jams is an Afro-Guyanese group. I wonder if they understand, if they know, if they've taken time to research and get a clear understanding of what the 1st of August means to Afro-Guyanese and Afro-descendants around the Caribbean and the world. And can you imagine what the 31st of July, how significant it is to them, to Afro-Guyanese and Afro-Caribbean and Afros around the world, and how significant is the 31st of July in relation to the 1st of August. As a child growing up, country boy from Buxton, when my mother said we're going to Georgetown tomorrow, I ain't sleeping the night before. I'm sure many of you would have had that experience. As children, even as adults, when you know we're going to Guyana on vacation from the US, tomorrow morning is our flight, we ain't sleeping tonight. Because we're excited. We're anticipating, we're waiting for the moment. I remember as a youngster at school, when you go to school, the 2nd of January or whenever school opens after the New Year, the discussion is, who are the first bat for the New Year? Because you ain't sleeping all year's night. You're anxiously awaiting to greet the New Year and to rush into the bathroom to say, well, you are the first bat for the year. I'm using all of that to say that imagine on the plantations, the mood of our ancestors on the 31st of July. As a matter of fact, imagine their mood from the week of July 31st. But on the night of July 31st, I can imagine them anxiously awaiting. Some might be celebrating, some might be wondering if this thing is true, some might be wondering if we live in to see the 1st of August. And so the night of the 31st of July is extremely important. It is as important as the 1st of August too. It was to our ancestors and it is to us, the descendants of freed slaves. But here we are. We have a set of people around this country sitting in our offices like Batty Lyon, the Minister of Culture, who lacks culture himself. And I want to say the advisors of the Minister of Culture, who themselves lack culture. And the folks who look like us over at Hits and Jams, because Elton says it's an Afro-Guyanese group. And them who sitting in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs like Brockup Ben, who is at the top of the list. And his advisors. And then you go over to Yves Leary and you find an Afrocentric, illegally appointed acting commissioner of police who was allegedly involved in the slaughter of 3 Afro-Guyanese in Linden. And his management team. All of them who cannot, in their little minds, imagine the importance of July 31st to Afro-Guyanese as that day relates to the 1st of August. Because all of them have been living under a rock. They were all under a rock. They were living in a cocoon. They were paying no attention to what happens in this country on the night or on the day of July 31st. Well, let me tell you what happens. On the night of July 31st, all through the day of July 31st, Afro-Guyanese across this country are celebrating what we call Emancipation Eve. We are starting our celebration on July 31st to go all the way into 12 o'clock July 31st, which is really the first of, a minute after 12 July 31st is the 1st of August. So we don't wait until the morning of the 1st of August to start celebrating. We start celebrating the day before. And that's the closest we wait to celebrate. Because like places like Buxton, we are doing symposium, we are doing lectures, we are doing preparation, we are doing all things all through the month of July. To lead up to August 31st, to lead up to July 1st, July 31st, August 1st, and then we continue the month of August, until August month end to do things. That famous Buxton proposal, as we call it, it is nicknamed Buxton proposal because it was one of these symposiums that we had, and Professor Clive Thomas was the main speaker when he made a proposal that $5,000 be given to every household from the oil money. And that is why it became known as the Buxton proposal. Right? But these people are sitting in culture ministry and home affairs and police and all of them don't know that Afro-Guyanese engage in their own cultural activities beginning latest on the 31st of July to usher in the 1st of August. And so they believe that it's okay to have all kinds of things happening on the 31st of July and the 1st of August, or even from the 28th of July all the way and so on. Because it is either they don't know, or they pretend not to know, or they know and they don't care. We have to make that assessment. But one thing is sure, we have to hold our ground and demand that respect is due to our cultural and historical practices around the period July month end, August 1st. Well, growing up, even if it's St. James is owned by my fellow Buxtonian, who really is from Plaisance. Shiro, morning. If really and truly you're saying that it's St. James is owned by my fellow Buxtonian, then it would appear that he don't know too, or he just doesn't care. Because if you grow up in Buxton, I can tell you, you're supposed to be grounded. You're supposed to be grounded. And you're supposed to understand how seriously we are about that period, July 31st, August 1st. If no other period, give us those 2 days to do our thing. We are very serious and committed to that. But they don't know. At least I was told they don't know. We didn't know, though. We didn't know nothing that's happening on the 31st of July. We're going to check the history. And so this morning, I have to take the time to teach. This is our university, man. We like teaching here. Politics 101, Buxtonian morning time, Free Talk Fridays. We don't just cuss down, you know. I don't know if you are considered cuss down in here. Do I cuss down? Right? Let's start. Enslaved Africans were freed from plantation labor on the 1st of August, 1838. Some will argue that it is as early as 1834. There are others who will argue that freedom actually took place earlier for some. But let's focus on 1838 because 1838 is when it is believed the majority of enslaved Africans were freed. Because while the order was passed that they be freed, as of 1834, there was a, what we call it, a modifier. It said, though we will consider them free they must be apprenticed. You must be apprenticed. And the period of apprenticeship should be 4 years, from 1834 to 1838. During that period, we will teach them how to handle freedom. Right? So for 4 years, starting 1834 to 1838, enslaved Africans were to be taught how to be free. You took up people from freedom. You enslaved them. And then you decide we're going to teach them how to be free and then put them back into the open. That sounds like some baloney. But that was the reality. And so for the period 1834 to 1838, different territories will report that their enslaved Africans were freed even before 1838. Right? Because dependent on the what they call them? The anti-enslavers. Let's call them that loosely. Dependent on their struggle, how successful they were, some sections, some territories were forced to release the enslaved Africans earlier. Because of complaints which were being made constantly to the hierarchy, the monarchy, the Brits, about abuse which was taking place during this period of apprenticeship. Many argue that the period was actually curtailed and did not last until 1838. Right? The general understanding was that the enslaved were supposed to work for 45 hours a week. For the plantocrats, there's free labor. Right? And then after that 45 hours, the remaining hours that they worked in the week, they would get paid for it. But what the plantocrats used to do is ensure they work the hell out of them during that 45-hour period. And so even if they had to be paid for additional work, it was very little work. They were not supposed to be whipped during that period. A lot of them were whipped. And so these complaints were being sent. And in reaction to them, many argue that in some territories, it had to be curtailed. Apprenticeship had to be curtailed, and so it did not last until 1838. But a teaching, because they got some people who don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. And they got some people who know and they pretend that they know. So let me teach. Let me teach. Right? So imagine a group of people looking forward to their freedom. It's like you telling your child, next week, Saturday, we're going to Disneyland. A child that has never gone to Disneyland before. He has heard about Disneyland. And every day is another anxious day of that child for Saturday to come. Imagine you being enslaved and you're told 4 years ahead that on the 1st of August 1838 you're going to get your freedom. Right? Mark Doris in class, he speaks of the stipendiary magistrate. Yes. As I said, the stipendiary magistrate was there to defend, oh God of mercy, why y'all carry me there? To defend the rights of the now apprenticed. He was supposed to be looking into the well-being of the now apprentice, but he eats, slept, and, well, what would I say? He eats, sleep, and shit. In other words, he was very well wrapped up with the ruling class. He was very well wrapped up with the plantocrats. He and them the tight. Like how the police commissioner and the owner of the Guyana police force is tight with the stinking dirty cabal, the stipendiary magistrate was tight with the plantocrats. And so when it comes to matters of justice or injustice, the stipendiary magistrates were seen as being corrupt. just like the police force. And so while the stipendary magistrates were supposed to be looking out for the apprentice, they were looking out for their friends and cronies in the plantocracy. They're looking out for Bakra. Right? Some of the injustices, for example, an apprenticed African could be sent to the workhouse as punishment, or could be locked up as punishment. But when he is released, he still has to go and complete his 45 hours in a week. Or how many ever 45 hours he missed, he has to go complete them before he can start getting paid again. I want to talk to a million people this morning because I got enough people out there who play and know that they don't know. Let's educate them. When the government was handed over to the dirty and stink cabal on the 2nd of August, sometime after one of the goons in Buxton watched me and said, we're going to take over the 1st of August celebration. We're taking over the emancipation celebration and we're going to bring Vice President Jack Dio. I said, why you can't talk to me about 1st of August and emancipation celebration? What is the date of emancipation of enslaved Africans? Tell me. And he think he didn't know, but he didn't know. Up to now, he didn't answer the question. That is the plight we have. That is the plight we find ourselves in this society. A lot of our Afro-Guyanese brothers and sisters behave as ignorant as they are because they're just that, ignorant of their history. And we have a duty to teach them. And so I cringed yesterday, and I'm being very honest. When my brother Elton said, AGDA is Georgetown based. AGDA is seen around this country as the biggest representative, or Afro-Guyanese look to AGDA as their representative culturally in this country, but it is Georgetown based. And so when you come up upon challenges like these, where a group of Afro-Guyanese are organizing activities that will infringe on this culturally significant activity hosted by AGDA on the 1st of August, one can attribute it to a large extent to AGDA failing. Because if AGDA had done its work throughout this country, consistently and diligently, then there would be a larger mass of Afro-Guyanese who are aware of their culture, who understand the significance of these cultural practices, who understand the significance of this date and dates leading up to this date. And so Christ himself could come on the 1st of August and they could turn it back on him and say, this is what is important to us. Y'all don't accuse me of blasphemy. It's an extreme example. In other words, if you plant the seeds and you nurture them and you make your people strong enough to recognize the importance of certain things, then regardless of who comes with their destructive practices and efforts, they will not succeed. This same group of Afro-Guyanese at Hits and Jams were heard broadcasting to the nation not too long ago, do not support the day of protest. Go to the outreach at Buxton. Or Afrocentric are they? Y'all answer me, how Afrocentric are they? Y'all talk to me. Is it that they don't know, or they know and pretend they don't know so that they can do what they want, when they want, how they want, and plead ignorance? Share the life. We ain't make 1,000 yet and I want 1,000,000. What's going on? You didn't even want to enter the journey. Huh? What is happening? Some people might say I'm bashing people. I am not bashing anybody. I do this all the time. I speak from my heart. There's need for organizations like ACTA to do more. All year round. It's not good enough to just come in the month of July, August and say, well, we do it. We have to do all year round. Because all year round our people need to be educated. And if we educate and strengthen our people all year round, then when these challenges present themselves, if we see them as challenges, then they can make decisions in keeping with their all year round education. But if all year round we allowing them to go and stink and dirty, and swing and bacchanal, with no grounding, no cultural grounding whatsoever, then when it comes to time to give due respect to the ancestors and culture, they ain't gonna got no time with us because that's not what they are accustomed to. They say children live what they learn or learn what they live. Which one? I usually say, and they say, you don't bend the tree when it's old. Right? You don't bend the tree when it's old. You gotta start when it's young. Mark Doris? Bye. Yaga. Be careful. Right? You don't bend the tree when it's young. You gotta start when it's, what they call it, when it's a sapling. Is that it? You lie. Mark, so my internet is breaking up. Look when it's breaking up now. Look when it is breaking up. When I'm talking about waste men and women, the truth hurts. That is when they activate what? Pegasus? Children live what they learn. Yeah, trust me, they also learn what they live. Trust me, they also learn what they live. Trust me, I can tell you. If you live in poverty and you gotta fight every day for your food, you're gonna learn that. When you go there, you gotta fight for what you want. Right? I think it's a two-edged sword. You live what you learn and you learn what you live. So are we saying the likes of Super learned self-hate? Were they socialized into self-hate? The likes of the Bishop, were they socialized into self-hate? Self-hate? Huh? Y'all talk to me. Is that why they behave like that? And then they come pretending that they know, they tell you how Afrocentric they are. Here where Afrocentrism is. I read every book that has been written on Afro-Guyanese history in this country. And I got them in my collection too. Huh? Well, I have not read as many books as Mark Super Phillips has read. But I can say, I've done more work for the Afro-Guyanese community than Mark will ever dream of doing. Despite the fact he has more resources. He has more resources. He has access to more resources. But he has less testicular fortitude. He's more spineless than I am. And the likes of Bishop Fisher and Onij Jelaya and Polori Joe, they all can be lumped into this. Can you imagine a man like Polori Joe? Polori Joe comes from BV. And these are places of cultural significance to Afro-Guyanese. These are places which have paid attention and continue to pay attention to the ancestral struggles and legacy they celebrate every year, they observe. And you got a man like Poloy Joe in government and black people catching hell. Black people catching hell. I'm arguing here that when I listen to the utterances of the PPP footstool in Buxton, who told me that he and his crew in Buxton will take over the emancipation celebration and bring back Jagdio. Imagine you bringing one of the persons who hate your people the most to address your people. That is some self-love. That is some self-love. Or some pure ignorance. But when I heard him say that, and when I look at the events which are being promoted in competition with ACTA's Emancipation Fest on 1st of August, I am saying this is no coincidence. I'm saying it is no coincidence. The PPP has hatched a plan. The dirty and stink cabal has hatched a plan to use these young, ignorant black men in the Afro-Guyanese community to decimate, to destroy the activities which have the probability of making our people aware, instilling pride in our people, and gathering togetherness of our people. They are using them to destroy those activities. And as ignorant as they are, they can't recognize it. They can't recognize it because our people say, well, goat now see further than he knows. And so the onus is on people like you and I. We got to teach, tough love, share the light. We ain't 1,000 yet we are waiting for. Let me tell you, as I'm on it, on the 31st of August, the Society for African Guyanese Empowerment, SAGE, the 1st of August movement, Buxton, 2 and 2 Multipurpose Club will all collaborate to host Black is Beautiful. Black is Beautiful. It's an extravaganza on the 31st of August, leading into the 31st of July, leading into the 1st of August. Black is Beautiful. It's an extravaganza. In the course of the day, we are going to be hosting the kings and queens and princesses that ACTA is bringing into this country. Yes, we will be hosting them in Buxton on the 31st of August. And then late in the evening, we are going to go to the Company Road lined up or in front of the Buxton Market on Company Road. And we're going to have the candlelight service, libation, pouring, from about 6 o'clock. And when that is finished, perhaps about 9 o'clock, we are going to start our grand cultural extravaganza. On stage is Yoruba singers. Yoruba singers is on stage. Brian Chester will be there to do Nancy's story. Lassa Duke will give us a few calypsos. You're going to see Professor David Hinds dance kwekwe. And lots of other cultural activities. Activities of cultural significance and teaching. And then as we approach midnight to usher in the 1st of August, Freedom Day, we are going to have the featured address. And this year is likely to be by one of our bigwigs. We got no bigwigs in the African society. And so one of them will do the feature address. We also have a youth address. And so we hear from young people, we hear their perspective on things. So come to Buxton on the 31st of August. July. Why do I keep saying August? Come to Buxton on the 31st of July. For the Black is Beautiful, a cultural extravaganza. They're going to come and get to buy some kanki. We got kanki for sale, and we got Marby. And you might get some fufu. And you want some metem, that too might be available. Come to Buxton. And then buys your big old plantain from Buxton back down. And whatever else they're producing. So come to Buxton, come associate with your roots. And learn while you're at it. Learn while you're at it. Don't allow people to decimate your legacy, your culture. Stink and dirty is now we own. Stink and dirty belong to the cabal and the cronies. Boat crews, you want to be reminded how your ancestors were packed on those slave liners and brought against their will to the Caribbean? You want to be reminded of that? Boat crews. Where are you cruising to? God forbid, I don't. No. God forbid. Y'all stay on land, stay grounded. Go to the National Park on the 1st of August. They celebrate in Zambia. Hear about the history of Zambia. Get an education about your motherland. That's what you have to do. Don't go boat cruising. Stink and dirty. Wine and go down. Back ball to the ground. Fertilize your mind. Hope Tongue on the night of the 31st usually has a celebration of cultural significance there too. Go to Dartmouth. Afro-Guyanese villages across the country are doing things of cultural significance on the 31st, leading into the 1st of August. Join them. You can have as much fun playing kicksal. Is that what you call it? Kicksal or chiefsal? Kicksies. Salout. Go reconnect with some of the games of your youth that were played in African villages. Go be excited by stick fight. There's some Afro-Guyanese communities where stick fight is still an art form. How much of y'all ever touch a drum? Much less to play it. How many of you? Come on. We don't only need a cultural reawakening. We need to defend our culture. And stop being lured by some of them who look like us, but are not necessarily of us. So when I say EXXON Jams is a group of black brothers, Afro-Guyanese brothers, yes, they're a group of Afro-Guyanese brothers. But I don't know what their game plan really is. Because I'm not sure that what I see coming from them is in keeping with the desire of the Afro-Guyanese community, or is in keeping with the interest of the Afro-Guyanese community, or is helping to promote the cause of the Afro-Guyanese community. They said a friend of my enemy is my enemy. And if when black people say we can protest because things are not right in our community, they can sit at the radio station and say, don't support the protest. They're going to be the friend of my enemy. I said I want to see me live in a community where the roads are bad all the time. They want to see me live in a community where there is no farm to market road to bring out our produce as we're producing. And so we're suffering large amounts of spoilage, and some of us are getting frustrated and abandoning the farms, and then we're being told you're lazy. Whereas in other communities, they're getting everything to enable them. Farm to market road, free planting materials, and professional guidance, and so on and so forth. But when I raise my voice and say things irregular, because what you're giving them, you're not giving us, they tell you don't support my cause. How I could consider them friend, how I could think that they have my best interest at heart. Yeah, wake up. It's 25 past 8 o'clock. The lines are open. It's Free Talk Friday. Let me talk about them. All of these are for centric people who know not that they know not, or pretend otherwise. 622-5933 is the number to call. You tune to the Buxtonian Morning Time. David Hinds said, we winning. Let us continue to win. Call your live, good morning.
Morning. I'm making a serious call this morning. You know, I know it might cause some trouble within the organization, but I think it's time people like you and Coffee lead actor, people with vision, you understand me? People that are lovely people. I think it's time you all pick up the mantle and run with that thing, because you all know what can be done for our thing to grow and our thing to stay alive. Because I'm sure you go down to Burmese and ask a 25-year-old about actor, they ain't know it. 30-year-old, they ain't know it. Going to Dartmouth, they ain't know nothing about them. And I think it's time you people take up that mantle and run with it. Anyhow, with the people coming from Africa, with people coming, right? Y'all need to get King Kentrell up right there, you know.
Why? It might be easier for tell them make roti.
Nope, nothing to do with that. Good and thing. We need to celebrate, man. Anyhow, have a good day.
Thank you for your call. The lines will be at 622-5933. We talking the thing is Friday, Free Talk Friday. I don't know if I should tell you all the story, but let's see how it unfolding first. I got a story for me talk. Yeah. Good morning, Colin Life.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. Good morning, everyone in the diaspora. Good morning, everyone in Guyana and in the struggle. The subject matter this morning on your show talks about selling out of Guyana, but you made a more convincing argument about our African Guyanese history. So I've decided to comment more and Jack Deal later on another show. Now, firstly, let me say that it's a beautiful thing when we become conscious about the greatest fight that we can fight, the fight of liberating ourselves in any which way we can.
Yeah.
ACTA needs to diversify to Berbice. We would like to see ACTA in Berbice on the west coast of Demerara, and probably in Linden and other parts as well. Now, they're doing a good job, and we would like them to do much more. We have to encourage what we have. In terms of the last night's show, a good brother from Hopetown and Litchfield area, attorney at law, Darren Wade, raised some beautiful points. And one of the points he rose last night was the village number 12. Number 12 is one of those African villages that were bought, just as our families bought Litchfield and Den Amstel and other villages around Guyana. and better for walking, and etc. Number 12 village is a village under siege. Number 12 in West Coast Berbice, according to Darren Wade, our good brother. So we need to focus on what happened in number 12 village. Now moving along. I do notice that a lot of us as African Guyanese in America, in Guyana, those in university and those who have the pen to write in media, keep addressing us with the wrong label of Afro. We are nothing about Afro. Afro was a time, a movement. We are not Afro people. I wish you would stop bastardizing our nationality by calling us Afro. There is no Afro flag in the United Nations. There is no nationality called Afro. We are Africans by way of our descendants and our ancestry. Let's not disconnect ourselves from our rightful place. Afro is a hairstyle. And we cannot attribute not another word, not another credit or contribution towards a hairstyle called Afro. Attribute it. If we know better, do better. Because we are writing ourselves out of our own history by labeling our contributions in history in an academical sense to the word Afro. We are Africans. Again, we are African Guyanese. If you look on your passport, you're Guyanese. That's your nationality. If you're Japanese American, they're living in America. If you're Chinese American. Okay? Because people link themselves to their ancestry, and that's how you get nationality. Now, if we continue the utterance of linking ourselves to Afro, there is nothing in the history of law that represents Afro. So it's a disservice by using that word, Afro. Now, I want to talk about when we were freed. You know, a lot of people talk about being freed when the British gave us freedom. That's like the same old argument. We only were discovered when Columbus discovered us. We've got to get away from that kind of thinking. The British never gave us freedom. We got freedom firstly, in Guyana as Africans, under coffee. And if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Call in on a voicemail and say, Coffee, you're wrong. Do we forget that coffee freed thousands of Africans from the plantations of Berbice who went free and who went and formed and went to live among the Union people in Union quarantine? And thousands went to live in amongst the Saramakas of Suriname, the Maroons. Are we forgetting that freedom? Or that freedom don't count because the white man didn't tell we was free yet? It seems as though we only get labels and we only define ourselves when Emancipation Proclamation came along. Then Forbes Boylan tell us that the Republic was linked to Coffee's rebellion. Why do you think Forbes as a lawyer said that? For those scholars, African Guyanese scholars, why do you think our illustrious leader said that the Republic of Guyana must be and was linked to the liberation and the freedom of our Africans in 1763? Because it is true. Africans were liberated, and the liberation started in 1763 under Coffee. And the facts are there for those who want to talk about it. And I think we need to start defining Emancipation Proclamation is good. Yes, it is good. It's a phase on the history timeline. But it's not the beginning of our emancipation. And when people were freed, indeed, when we took it, when we won it, not when it was conferred upon us. not when it was conferred conveniently upon us. So we just want to make a distinction. And, you know, so while we're talking about free Africans, we want to also acknowledge that Africans won their freedom and were freed under the 1763 rebellion by the thousands, and they went amongst the Saramakas and Suriname. At that time, it was the Dutch period. So all of Quarantine was Dutch. Okay? And then for those of us who want to find that history, can look in the archives of the University of Holland. There's a museum there, and we can read it. I'm also writing a thesis on the ownership of Guyana, fought by Kofi, Accra, and our ancestors. We own the Guyana ever since then. If somebody can prove me wrong, call in with a voicemail and say, Kofi, you're wrong. Kofi did not own any part of Guyana. See? Now, by proving me wrong, it's okay. I welcome that. Because we are taking control of the debate, of our narrative. And we are immersing ourselves in the awakening of our people. So I welcome that give and take. Because that is what it takes to raise the dry bones in the valley. To stand up a conscious army. That is what it means for Swari Hotam. That is what it means to have emancipation. Many of us are freed at different times. Even though we are freed on paper, many of us are walking around on the plantation still on the plantation, because free is as free does. Free is as free as one is to exercise that freedom. Are we still free today in Guyana? We've got to consider that. I don't mean to be lecturing anybody, but are we free today in the true sense of the word? If we were free today in the true sense of the word, and we built and fought and slaved and hung and swung from trees for Guyana, how come we can't go in the Parliament of Guyana and exercise our freedom as African Guyanese?
A minute to wrap up.
How come? Thank you, sir. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for calling. You tune to the Buxtonian Morning Time. It is now 8 hours 36. Voice notes.
Kadaki, good morning. You know, it's we Afro-Guyanese encourage that because their Afro-Guyanese will prefer to leave the emancipation celebration and go behind them under Juve. I said that is how we Africans stay. That we don't have unity at all. Kadaki, don't fight up with hits and jams. When you see these people think they use them enough, you don't see what happened with them. Kadaki, ACNO needs to get more involved. You can't just wait for this time of the year for come promoting culture. What happened to whole year? You don't hear nothing from them?
Lines remain open 6225933. Thank you for those voice notes. More voice notes. Call you live, good morning. Call you live, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ducky. I just want to make a quick few points. Number one, I heard the vice president, the Indian South vice president, going around saying, people must get masquerading around the place, following the step leaders or what the case may be. Now I want to ask the vice president, if he's claiming that he's so honest and so impolite, why don't he step aside and let the entire investigation go into him and Vice News? Why is it he hiding or why is dodging or what the case may be? If he has anything to hide, why don't he let the entire investigation go ahead? Right? But we all know they're corrupt and we know what's going on. Right? Now, with Hits and Jam, I think every Guyanese, African Guyanese, should boycott what Hits and Jam are, because we all know it's PPP Hits and Jam is about. Right? As far as after all year after keeping the emancipation thing, now watch when they're coming to keep the thing. When it's to show up the output thing. But we all know an African should them is all about. It's all about because the share Africans is just support them. No other races support them, right? Because that's what they're doing, and that's what they're trying to extract African with, right? And we should be conscious and boycott them any event that they have in, right? Now come to this right by Attorney General. He thinks he's so bright in the world that he won't lose no case at all. Now we all know that they interfere with the judiciary system and all things. Now we all know that whatever they're doing, right? They want to sideline the judiciary. They want to put this body in the body because they want to control everybody. Now I want to know if everybody, all the judiciary, magistrates and all of them will go against them, if they're going to remove all of them from the seats, right? And you have more cases coming to lose, right? So there's 2 more cases with them, and you're going to lose them also because we all know where they're corrupt, and we all see where they're heading. And the corruption going to expose them every single day, and we all know seeing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. Let me tell you that there are 2 cases in the courts of Guyana today. So Selwyn Peters and team return to court today at 10 o'clock. There's the fixed date application of Christopher Jones and Norris Whittle versus the Attorney General before Justice Singh. And then again in court today. Christopher Jones and Norris Whittle went to court, if I remember clearly, to challenge the passage of the NRF bill in Parliament in the absence of the mace. That I think it is. And Aubrey Norton versus the Attorney General is before Chief Justice George. And Aubrey Norton versus the Attorney General, I think, is the case that challenges the constitutionality of the appointment of the Police Service Commission, and by extension, Clifton Hicken as Acting Commissioner of Police. I hope I got them right. I'm almost sure I got them right. But of course, I'm always open to being corrected. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. Let's talk the thing. It's Friday. It's Free Talk Friday. Talk the things. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning to everybody in the house. And my point is, my thing is that AGLO as the body representing Africans in this country, they sit down too long and they are laid back. Look at all the atrocities that happened to Africans since the installed regime took power. They never came out on the ground to say, you know what, let me go and spend 15 minutes of our time to show solidarity to the Africans on the struggle of being kicked off the job. They never did nothing. So because they tell themselves and they hold themselves aloof from the general African population in the country, there is where the installed regime, through the hits and jams, who got the African front, decided we going to rule roughshod. And after you decided, you told them that no, that you cannot come to give you a speech on the eve of emancipation celebration. There is where that plan was being hatched. Now, last night I listened to Dr. Hinds and I was elated with the panel that he had. And Mr. Darren Wade, you got great things in store for you, because Dr. Hinds read, I don't know if it's the editorial or no, it was a letter where somebody wrote a thing to the Times claiming that the Africans on the march, we are wolves and we are rapists and the different things. And after Dr. Hinds recited, read from the papers what was there, Mr. Darren Wade said that is a matter that he personally will be taken to the courts, because in the time they got cyberbullying crime, they got cyberbullying laws, and if you are gonna openly write against a people and call them wolves and all those derogatory statements ending up with them being rapists, he said that's a matter for the court. And we should keep our foot on the bandwagon. And the same letters that they try to destroy the African citizenry of Guyana must be challenged. Coffee was hollering all the time that we need a defense, like a court, we have a fund where we could fund lawyers to attack cases like this. And I think it is very much important that we put our dollar cents, dollar coins, and our $5 into this system, as how the older people, our ancestors, pulled our monies in wheelbarrows and bought villages. And coming to this emancipation, lots of young African people do not want to learn about our history. So when people like Hits and Jams come up with things, it's got game last. Now, Guyana is a foolish country. I could be deemed as a fool. I don't care. If Guyana see anything happen outside according to Dr. Pender, Juve is linked with Carnival. Now, every function that Guyana got, Republic is Juve, independence is Juve, now emancipation is Juve. We looking thin out there, we looking stupid, because we are using terms out of context. Like how Guyanese suddenly got summer. The only holiday they got is summer. They ain't got winter, fall, and spring, you know. They're looking stupid. Juve is a carnival, not emancipation. And as you rightly said, they must be going on the boat cruise to remind them how we came to the new world. But what they should do, they should tie them down with chains at the bottom of the boat and let us see how we come on the boat cruise. Bye-bye. And the last thing,
I
will try to see if I could make it to your emancipation festivities. But remember, I am a light here and I got to be attending my own. But I'll see how I could split myself. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Quickly, I want to say this. While we're saying ACDA is not doing enough and ACDA has not done enough, I want to ask a question. How many of us have attempted to be members of ACDA? How many of us have encouraged our children to be members of ACDA? How many of us have sought out ACDA and say, come to our community and establish a chapter, a branch, a group, whatever? Right? Where there are rights, there are also responsibilities. Good? Like I said yesterday to Mr. McRae, Brother McRae, I am on the outside looking in. I don't know all the internal workings of ACDA. But from what I'm seeing, they need our support as much as we need their support. And in all fairness, again, Brother McRae was on the picket line on the day of protest. He said he represented ACDA. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Morning, Kadaki, and morning, Guyana, especially from the African Guyanese folks. We shouldn't be surprised at what's going on. We have been on the decline as far as our heritage for the longest while. I mean, what is it that are taught in schools about us? And we don't do any reinforcement when we're at home. So we shouldn't be surprised we are black all our lives or want to be African on Emancipation Day. So, you know, we simply have to understand our plight. And I do not think that actually get that. We sell ourselves, we sell our souls just for that almighty dollar. So here's it, we got still being taught Christopher Columbus discovered, and that's what we've been brought up to know. And where's the correction? Even when we do have our people in position of power, we simply do not correct those inconsistencies in history, because we fall under the same disguise that he discovered America. But how much of our youngsters know Christopher Columbus was a damn blasted liar? He don't know these things. So here comes hits and jams. They may just know some basic thing, but their thing is all about money. And that's what it is. So here's it. They're working with the government to undermine African heritage, undermine their own selves for the almighty dollar. It is just that simple. We've got to do a better job of actually teaching our children. But again, if the adults don't know, where the hell they're going to get that lesson from? And that's our main issue. We've got to start with the children as young as 2 and 3, showing them the positive things of our history. And those are the same youngsters, once they're in 15 and 16 and stuff, will have those ideas and thoughts with them forever. But if we want to try to now talk to them about African when they're 35 and 40, they've already been socialized in a European manner. I see Guyana have Halloween. What the hell is that about? So it just goes to show we simply will take others and we follow others. I mean, when it comes to Pagode Day and all of that, how many Africans participate in that? A lot. But when it comes to Emancipation Day, we shy away from it. And the Indo-Guyanese, oh man, you see them at nothing. So they really don't care. So we got to understand, you got to fend for your own self. And that's my take.
Thank you, caller. There are two things I want to address. There's a caller, somebody is chatting on the line who said that the Granger government didn't do a lot for African organizations or any major African organization. I'll tell you this. And I continue to see a lot of the issues which Africans have with the Granger government, because the Granger government's PR was piss poor. It was extremely poor. Honestly, it was poor. Some people will tell you I was part of it, but it was poor. In the decade of people of African descent, the decade for people of African descent, International Decade for People of African Descent, that decade started under the Jagdeo or Ramatar presidency, you know. And they did nothing. Absolutely nothing. The International Decade for People of African Descent was declared by the United Nations so that special attention could have been paid to the plight of Africans around the world. While other countries were doing stuff, the PPP in government did nothing, absolutely nothing, to facilitate that decade. It was the Granger government that gave, I can't remember the sum, but millions of dollars to form the organization they now have called IPADG, International Decade of People of African Descent, Guyana. We call it IPADG. Millions of dollars were given to that, to form that organization by the Guyana government. That organization is still in existence. I don't know if it is as vibrant as it was from the inception, but I am sure that it is still vibrant. Right? Again, the question is, how many of us, I hosted them here to talk about the credit union. They have a credit union. How many of us have attempted to join the credit union? How many of us have attempted to become ordinary members of IPADG? Right? So it's all good and proper to have these Afrocentric organizations and in this instance get support, argue that they should get support from government and so on. But are we supporting them with our bodies and our thoughts? These are things which we must also consider. There was another point I wanted to make. Oh, somebody spoke about culture day in schools, where the majority of our children are dressing up as Chinese and Indians and Amerindians and so on. But they're not dressing up of what they are, dressing up as what they are, Africans. Right? And so it causes a certain enlightening of our teachers, because it is our teachers who are always telling you, you must dress as Chinese. Let the Chinese dress as Chinese. Let the Chinese promote their culture. Let the Indians promote their culture. Let our African children go to school as Africans. Not so long ago, there was almost a big brouhaha of African hairstyle in school. A war was about to be started by Sitara Gal. Apostle London, I think, shut it down. Caller, your life. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, listeners. Well, we've reached that point, haven't we, basically, where it's kind of thing that anything goes in Guyana at the present moment. I think people have to remember and remind themselves and basically start talking to their children more and, get that communication. I'm from the UK, and I've always been reminded about my history and about my culture, from way back when. But I think the problem what's happening right now in Guyana is culture has become they've lost the African culture and they've created a Guyanese culture, which is a mix of all cultures. Yeah? But when you speak to young people out there in Guyana and you're walking around places in Georgetown, whether East La Penitence, West La Penitence, or whether North Rhine, Beltor, whether Buxton, people don't know about certain things. Like the man was just saying about Christopher Columbus was an old blasted liar. People don't even know about them songs. Now this is relating back to hits and jams now. Hits and jams don't play that kind of music. Yeah? In fact, I was shocked one day when I was in Massey stores. Now, I hear hits and jams playing and I hear a Vibes Cartel tune come over the radio. And it wasn't even a radio edit. And this is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's apparent we know what hits and jams are doing. We know why they're doing it. It's a breakdown of society that they want amongst the black. Yeah? And we all know who owns hits and jams. Now, we all know the people who are parading themselves as hits and jams and trying to advertise themselves as being good. We know they're just crabbing the barrel. They're just taking the money right now. I Judas them straightforward. That's all we can say. It's the Judas situation. We as black people need to get back in communities and arrange things within our own communities. And the elders need to pass on that information. They need to pass on things. Right now we've got a breakdown where that does not happen as much. Communication is needed more among families because a lot of it's broken. That's all I've got to say for now. I will call back another time.
Thank you for your call. And do have a great weekend. It's now 8 hours 58. That means it's 2 minutes to me leaving this program and getting about my Friday business. So I want to thank you all for joining. I want to encourage you to share the live, share the program, giving our favors ended. Corey, you have 30 seconds. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Kadaki. Good morning to the listening public. I think, my thing about this emancipation thing, right? It should be better organized by the PNC party, right? Time like this, we need to start things by Coffee Square and, you know, keep a big meeting so as to sensitize the public and so on, right? We need to put more emphasis in our emancipation celebration, right? And fundraising, right? Elsa Lowe said he was good at fundraising for the coalition, right? He was good at fundraising. And he was vying for the treasury at the party, right? I think they should get him on board, try to raise some money for the coalition. We need money. We need money to do our court cases and so forth. Right now, we are down and under because of money, right? The PVP has a lot of money and they got a lot of backings. We need money. So we need to try to raise some more funds so we could challenge certain things that the PVP does. That's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I wouldn't say too much more. It is 9 o'clock. I'm sorry. I can't take any other calls. A brother got to eat, you know. Yes, this, those of you who are, if you're in Buxton and you have a child or two between the ages of 0 and 10 years, you can bring that child. You can bring that child to Kams place on Sunday from 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have a little ice cream banquet. Just to mark my birth anniversary with the youngsters. We cater for 100 children, so I just hope and pray that we don't go past 100. Right? You notice I paused to announce it here because I don't know what will happen. But it's one of the ways of getting the word out. I don't know. Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, there's a little ice cream banquet. Admission is free. It's for the children, children between the ages of 0 and 10 years old. Right? Let them come down and have some fun. They might get an opportunity to express themselves also while enjoying some ice cream and cake and juice and so on. It's an ice cream banquet, like I said. It's just to mark my birth anniversary, which you guys know was officially on the 12th. Good? Just my way of treating the little ones. I focus on children these days. Old people too old to fashion. Oh, y'all in vex. With regard to Ronaldine asking if she could come. Ronald, if you're between the age of 6 and 10 years, you could come. But if you're above 6 or 10, and you want to come, then you could be coming to bring additional ice cream and cakes to the youngsters. That's okay. Good. Sandra Goodluck is asking the same thing. Well, I've answered Sandra. If you're older than 10 and you want to come, unless you're accompanying a child who is 10 and younger, then you can come and bring more ice cream and cakes so that the children will have a bigger treat. Right? You're welcome to come. I was about to say the bar is also there if you're above 10, but I'm not sure I want to promote alcoholic beverages among the children. Right? Diane said I'm discriminating. Diane, on the 30th, no, not the 30th, I think I had planned something for the 30th of July, but then I said it's too close, so we can do it down in August. Sometime down in August, we're going to have some fun as big people together. Don't worry, sir. Jesse Eyelashes, will you up and buy? We call him children from Vigilance, beefy man. Hey! You want to set me up? I look like Christ. I can't feel nobody with what? 2 birds, 2 fishes, and 4 birds or something. I don't know Bible stories well. Y'all have a good morning. Enjoy your Friday. Comes on Saturday Rhythms. I'll try to host it tomorrow. But I really have to do some research into music to host it because, like I said, Facebook has threatened to shut the page down because of either copyright infringement or hate speech. I want to believe it's more copyright infringement because I'm not such a hateful person. So I'm not sure what it is. And so I have to tread lightly because, like I said, the page is bigger than entertainment. It's bigger than Kams Saturday Rhythms. And what it is doing outside of Kams Saturday Rhythms, in my mind, is much more, much more important than, you know, the entertainment there. So I have to really tread lightly. But I would love to continue in Kams Saturday Rhythms. It's just that I believe that we might have to use a lot more of our local content, which I think you guys will enjoy anyway. Mark, you didn't count in holidays and Sundays and rainy days and days when the sun is too hot and so on. So I can understand you being 4 years old. Nevertheless, have a great day and goodbye. Those of you who are in the US, especially, this flask, this cold flask, somebody had asked me about it and the cost and so on. This flask, accompanied with a t-shirt, is a $50 value with free shipping. Right? The printers indicated that to me. So if you're interested in having one of these with the t-shirt, it's $50 in the US. Or $50 US, perhaps whoever you are, with free shipping. Right? Good. So you can consider that. Hit me up and let me know. Place your orders so I can compile those orders and send them off to the shipper, to the printers. Goodbye. I hope that fits my street to Jiva. In court today, there are 2 cases. Remember I said that. One of them is Orinon challenging the appointment of the chair of the Police Service Commission because there was no meaningful consultation and so on. And the other one, I think, is Christopher Jones and Norris Witter challenging the, what you call it, the passage of the NRF. Somebody wants to see the inside of the flask. This is the inside of the flask. I hope you're getting a good view. Yes, I am getting a good view. This is the inside of the flask. I think it is 8 hours hot and 12 hours cold, or vice versa. 8 hours hot, 12 hours cold, something like that. Good? But I can tell you, it's beautiful. I love it. And you too perhaps should get one that you will love.